This is Coons Ford Terp Talk. Call 410-481-1300 now. Once again, here's Bruce Posner.
We are back on segment 3 of Coons Ford Presents the Terp Talk. And on the line, former Maryland basketball point guard Jeff Baxter. Jeff, good evening. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing great, basically, but I'm a little under the weather, so if my voice goes in and out, please chalk it up to the fact that I was yelling so much at the game on Saturday.
Heck of a game. What did you feel? What was in your heart when they brought out the left-hander and brought that banner down from the rafters?
Oh, I'll tell you, I love the left-hander. I actually wanted to shed a tear for a second, but I looked at him, and all I can remember is him continually intimating to all of us, you got to be tough. You got to be tough. But I thought that was a great day for him. I think it lifted his spirits as well.
Oh, absolutely. It was well overdue, but I'm happy that the university finally recognized the gentleman that put Maryland on, that built the foundation and a tremendous program and put Maryland's big-time basketball.
Yeah, Lefty was definitely a vanguard and trailblazer without a doubt. I think, in actuality, he was the first to go through the process of integrating the team. He also was one of those guys who figured out a way to ensure that the players got their due. And when I say that, through the course of the year, some of the players could not work, obviously, like a regular student athlete. So he made sure that the students got everything that they needed to have to make sure they had a successful career, both academically and athletically. And I will say this, I've always been one who I think people put a lot of pressure on coaches to ensure that kids get their academia. I think at a certain point when you're 19 years old that you should have the ability and the wherewithal to make sure you take care of the schoolwork and allow the coach to do the coaching on the court.
Absolutely. The coach had some great students. I think of two when I went to school at Maryland. I would have been the third student. It was great if I had played ball with him. But Tommy McMillan, who went on to Oxford, which is pretty nice, and then became a congressman. Lenny Elmore, who became the first NBA player ever to go and graduate from Harvard Law School. So Lefty certainly, I think, had a little bit to do with keeping these guys with the right direction and the right priorities.
Yes, I concur 110%.
This is Wayne Viener. That's Freddy from Boca. On the phone is Jeff Baxter. Jeff, you've told me how Lefty came and recruited you. Where else were you looking to go to college, and what made the left-hander your choice?
In actuality, it's ironic that Maryland, although they were in the recruiting picture, they were not at the forefront. I was going to sign with either, this is going to have you crazy, not many people know this, I was going to sign with either Syracuse, North Carolina, or Duke in that order. Maryland came into the picture. Coach came up to my house. He was so gracious, charismatic, both with my family and with me as well. And you could tell his conversations, it had meaning. And at that point, as soon as he left the house, I told my mom and my brothers, I said, I'm going to Maryland.
Where did you go to high school?
I went to Archbishop Carroll High School in Washington, D.C. My coach was the great, Jack Brewer, who was a disciple of Coach Morgan Woot, and just taught me so much. Didn't
he go on to coach Adonal Foyle at, was it Cornell?
Yeah, at Colgate. Yes, he did.
Sorry.
At Colgate University. You have the C's correct. You were close enough.
Okay. Memory isn't what it once was.
Yeah, you have to brush up on that and try with Colgate, too.
Right. Thank you, Freddie.
Hey, quite. Jeff, what's it like for a 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, young man, to come out on the floor of a big game where there's 17, 18,000 people in the spotlight and the big introductions? What goes through inside of you at that time as a kid that young being in a situation like that?
I tell you, you lose sight of that whole mindset and that whole arena once you run onto the floor and you start warming up. Once the game starts, you lose sight of the fact that there's 17, 18,000, maybe 20,000 people in the stands because you're so concentrated and you should be so engaged into the game. So you truly lose sight of that. Only time that comes back up traditionally is when there's a timeout and you're out of the game to the sideline. Then you come to the realization there's a lot of people in this facility. So, again, while you're on the court, you don't pay attention to that.
You are listening to Coons Ford Terp Talk this Wednesday and every Wednesday here on 1300 CBS Sports Radio in Baltimore. Bruce Posner is in Evanston awaiting Maryland and Northwestern. This is Wayne Viener. That's Freddy from Boca. On the phone still Jeff Baxter. You've been on our videos, and a lot of people watch those videos up on Terp Talk. The other day you were on with Tony Massenberg, and you were talking about Len Bias, and in that, Freddy noticed that.
You talked about the type of person he was. Can you give maybe one specific example of his graciousness and his kindness?
I mean, Lenny was just an amazing person. If you watch some of the old footage, you actually can see his ability to be very charismatic, but also his ability to be as aggressive as anyone that you would ever come across. There's so many times, but I can tell you something that's so minute to a lot of people may not even realize this. Lenny would react to an action as a little baby, and I'm kind of trying to set this up. So, when we're all babies, and I think you guys have kids, and I had a little one as well at one point, and the equilibrium is totally off when they're starting to walk. Lenny would kind of reenact that piece, and he would say, this is how the little babies act when they started walking. And he would do this at any given time, but most of the time he would do it when either I had a bad game, or he may have had a bad game, or we're just down on our luck, because it's rarely that he had a bad game, or we're just having some tough times. He would do that to kind of get a smile out of you and take the whole mindset, the negative mindset off of you. And I thought that was amazing. Another time, when I saw and I realized how great Lenny was as a player, Red Auerbach was at a game, and we were playing Georgia Tech. Lenny was on the baseline. He was doing a turnaround jump shot with his right hand. What happened, John Sally went up to block the shot. Lenny switched to his left hand and hit the shot. Coach Red Auerbach at the time threw his hat on the floor, and we had to stop the game. And I'll never forget, Lenny turned to me and said, what did he do that for? I said, because he switched hands. Just an amazing kid.
His beginning, where he was just an outside shooter with a beautiful feathery touch, to the way he each year got bigger and stronger and more skilled, and then he owned any place on the court he wanted. It was his. And he would go up for a shot, as you would know, and guys would go up with him, and then they'd start coming down, and Lenny still kept going up and up and up. He was a monster, really. It's beautiful to watch, but he was a monster on the court.
I have to truly concur with you on that statement. We were playing Pepperdine in Long Beach, and I'll never forget this as well. Lenny was on the baseline, and I think Keith threw him a pass on the back. No, I threw the pass to him because we had gotten a steal. He went up and dunked the ball. Referee, I'll never forget the referee's action. He skipped literally from almost half court all the way down to the baseline, and he was continually waving his hand, talking about and one, almost as if the ref got totally engaged he got engaged in the game and outside of what he was supposed to be doing ref the game. So he was definitely a sight to see and a pleasure to play with.
How great experience was it for you to go to college at College Park? To me, I've been to many, many wonderful places. It's my favorite place in the world, that campus.
Me too. I mean, that's why we do this, is because we just love that place. But,
and you guys are speaking in the same mindset that I've always spoken. Sometimes people will come up to me either years ago or even now and talk about, hey, if you had gone to this school, you would have been a pro and all that good stuff. But I always tell them my experiences at the University of Maryland were amazing, both academic-wise, both socially, as well, obviously, as athletically. I mean, literally amazing. If I had to do it all over again, I would choose the same school as well. Obviously, the last portion of my senior days there, I would not want that to happen again. But again, people make mistakes. I truly think that was a mistake that was made, and I even teach my daughter, decisions you make can affect you in the long run. So always think before you make that move.
Absolutely. And the memories that we have now are fond memories and happy memories, despite the sadness how it ended. There's a lot of wonderful things to remind us of what about when you went to school there.
Yes, and I'm so glad that I think our society finally realized that there's so much positivity that came out of that, and that's associated with Len and Coach Driesell as a whole. When you look at that whole picture, there's no reason to really think negatively about that situation at all. It's all positive.
Hey, and as we're talking Maryland basketball, I just need to bring up that the whole TerpTalk gang, including Bruce Posner, Bruce is going to be headlining on Tuesday, March 7th at 6:30 at Fazzini's Taverna, along with Ernie Graham, and this is the Sports Boosters of Maryland event, and I urge you all to come out. We're going to be talking Maryland basketball there live at Fazzini's Taverna in Cockeysville, and if you go to TerpTalk.com right now, you'll see that is our feature story. So, Jeff, you had a segment on Saturday with intern Mason, and Mason thinks that Len Bias is the greatest basketball player he's ever seen, and part of that is because I actually paid the NCAA their $40 to get a copy on a DVD of the Maryland-North Carolina game at the Dean Dome. And for anybody who hasn't listened to the Jeff Baxter spot that we had up, you hit the shot that won the game. And Lefty, of course, was the coach. Bias had a great game. Run us through how that last play happened.
So at the end of the game, Kenny Smith had gone to the foul line to shoot a free throw. And actually, I started talking to Kenny when he walked to the line, and I said, Kenny, these big free throws. He said, I got it. So he went to the foul line. I turned to Keith, and I said, get the ball up court as quick as possible. So what we did was, once we got the rebound, Keith pushed the ball up court. On my peripheral vision to my left, I saw Lenny running, but I also saw Lenny almost double-teamed. If not, he had at least two people in his area. And what I said is, if I get the ball, I'm going to take this jump shot. And the reason I was going to take the jump shot, two reasons. One, I knew Lenny was double-teamed. Also, two, I had a scenario with UNLV early in the year where I actually had turned the ball over at the end of the game looking for Lenny. So I reminded myself that we will not turn the ball over. We'll give a shot up because that will be a better chance than just turning the ball over. So at that point, I went down and took the shot, and thank God I made it.
Was that your greatest moment on a basketball court?
That was undoubtedly my greatest moment on the basketball court. We played the Matha in high school. I will say this. Carl played the Matha over at the Matha, and I had a heck of a game over there, and I remember that. But that was my greatest. But Maryland, North Carolina, in the Dean Dome, their first loss was the greatest time ever on the basketball court.
Jeff, that game, I believe, was February 20th, 1985, and I know that because that's my birthday, February 20th. So I want to thank you for the birthday present that night. You and 34 made it happen. So thank you, JB.
You're quite welcome. So happy.
It took a while for me to thank you, but it's better late than never, you know?
Right.
Yes.
Well, we're in our final few minutes here tonight. Can you talk about playing with Keith Gatlin? And I just want to add that back then, for anybody younger who's listening, people used to go out on a basketball court and somebody wanted to be Magic Johnson or Larry Bird or Julius Erving, and somebody at that point wanted to be Keith Gatlin because he was that good a point guard around here. What was it like playing with him?
Keith was so smooth. He was so aware on the court. And I don't know if you guys know this, Coach did not believe in at one point in time in his point guard being taller than his shooting guard. So it took him a little bit while for him to buy into the fact that I was more of a scorer than I was really a point guard or a passer. Keith was phenomenal at having that skill. I mean, he could set you up because I can remember to the point where I became so comfortable with him. Once we got a rebound, I would give Keith the ball and I would take off down court. As opposed to prior to Keith coming there, I would be the one bringing the ball up court. He could see over the defenses. He made great decisions, and actually, he was what I call a quiet leader. You kind of knew where to go and where to be at when he was dribbling the ball at the court because he would find you.
All right, Jeff, thank you so much for being on TerpTalk.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. I want to thank everybody for listening here. Wayne, thank you. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Bruce. Enjoy the game out in Evanston. And ladies and gentlemen, our time is up. We thank you for yours.
Okay, Bruce will be on 105.7 after the game with Jerry Coleman. Go Terps!